Hello and welcome to episode 3 of DealerPod, the podcast where we talk to motor trade industry experts nationwide to find out about their businesses and gain any insights they may have to help you with your car sales operation. My name is Stephen. I'm joined today, as always, by Scott and Martin. And today's guest came to my attention around 10 years ago when I started watching his his Facebook videos rather, his crazy Facebook videos where he dressed in a full suit, complete with Mexican wrestling mask. He called himself Captain Car a lot, and I've followed him ever since. He's won multiple industry awards and is a regular poster on DealerWay and other motor trade Facebook groups. He's currently the owner of CarQuay in Derby. I'd like to welcome to the pod Jamie Caple. Hi, Jamie. How are you doing? You okay, mate?
I'm good, my man. That was quite a nice introduction. Choked me up a little bit there, man.
Nice.
I like the bit experts. I wouldn't quite say I'm an expert. One day, hopefully, I'll get there.
Yeah.
But at the minute, honestly, I feel like a newbie. I feel like I've just started, man. This job,
Really?
man. It's.
You were just saying that off there. Yeah. Can you explain a bit more about that at the minute and how you're finding things at the moment, Jamie?
I think. Look, again, I'm sure we'll touch on it. Opened this business in 2017, 10 cars. What am I doing? Trying to right the wrongs of a previous business. Gets through it. Gets to the pandemic. Gonna close. What's gonna happen? Absolutely smashed the arse out of it for kind of 3 years, 3.5 years. Got into the last financial year, flying. This is it. I've made it. I've created a printing press. And I'm going to be able to just go home and walk my dog and just relax and live the dream and, go for, I'm trying to point at Scott here, just regularly go out to, Michelin starred restaurants and tour the country, tour the world with my wife and have a lovely time. And it's not quite worked out like that. So like last financial year, first 6 months was the best 6-month period we'd had ever. And I'm like, we're out of the pandemic and we are still motoring and we're going to be making more than pandemic money. Got to September 2023, noticed, by the 10th of September, where we were was going to be the greatest month we'd ever had. Like honestly, I was like, we are so far ahead because we carried so much in and we had such a good start. And I'm like, this is the month. This is the month where I just go home and I'm like, and the result came in. And on about the 10th or 11th of the month, it seemed to just collapse. But because we were so far ahead, I just took it on the chin. I'm like, it's fine. It's a little dip. Normally we're busy at the start of the month, busy at the end of the month. And sometimes in the middle of the month, it's not great. So I was just like, it's going to come back. It's fine. It'll happen. And it didn't. But we still, because of the start we'd had, we still had a strong month financially. But I should have seen the signs that the market was changing, that things were moving, that prices were starting to, I don't use the word collapse, but just, and then we got into October, and October, we blew money. I'll talk about it quite openly. Never blown though. Never blown. 1 month, okay? The first month of COVID, I blew a couple of bags. Never blown dough. We blew in October. And again, combination of factors. I was on the Bangers trip. Always, how can I put it? Maybe focusing on the wrong areas. It was award season. I'm starting to think, right, I want to try and win a load of awards. And rather than actually looking at, right, prices are dropping. Because I always talk about us being really agile and nimble because we're an independent. We ain't got to speak to the board, to the buyer, the directors about what we do. We can just make stuff happen there and then. Right, bang, drop $1,000 off every car, which is what I should have done, but I didn't. And then so October was tough. And then suddenly I've got a lot of stock. It's owing me wrong. And I didn't react quickly enough. So November we made, December we made, Jan we made, Feb we made, March we made money, but not anywhere near the levels that we'd been doing. So to put it in the picture, what we made in the second 6 months of last year was a quarter of what we made in the first 6 months of last year. Do you know what I mean? So tough pill to swallow when, after that first 6 months, you're sat there looking at the bottom line thinking this is going to be the year of all years, to then significantly go back. And then as I came out of the year, again, mistakes I've probably made, because I've had this obsession with us making more money than the previous year. This has been this mental thing. Since my old business went tits up, I've had this thing where I've thrown everything into the job. I'm here all the time. And every year we've made more money and more money. So I got it in my head that if we ever went backwards, it mentally put me in that place where I was 7 or 8 years ago, like I'm going to lose everything. I nearly did lose everything. So I've had this drive, this obsession to continually make more money. Stupidly, what I've then done, certainly in the first 6 months of that financial year, when I bought a car back off a customer, we've all got a compound. I'm sure we've all got a graveyard where you just dump a problem. You get rid of it. Just hide it. Because we were flying on this first 6 months, like I'd have a problem. I'd need to get out of that. I'm going to blow 4 or 5 grand on it. And, and it's my own fragile ego. If I'd have just cashed those cars then, and I blew 4 grand on them, fine. The problem is now it's come home to roost. I'm blowing 6, 7, 8 grand on these cars now because I've not dealt with them. So we got to the end of the financial year. I was pissed because I'm like, that is not where I wanted us to be. So we clearly made less money than we'd made the year before. I dealt with it. I was like, it's okay. It's fine. If you think prices have come back 10 to 20% over a 3-month period, carrying best part of 3 million quid's worth of stock, if you actually look at the result we had, and I kind of said to myself, if prices were where they were, you actually would have probably had a really good second 6 months of the year. But because I had such a large amount of stock that depreciated really quickly and perhaps didn't sell it quickly enough, it is what I did. I just kept looking at it thinking, well, actually, if that car was still worth that and their price hadn't dropped, you'd have took that out of it. And only, over that period of time, you'd have had a fairly decent result. So I dealt myself into not beating myself up too much. Then I looked at my stock and I'm like, look, I've got problems that I've just buried. So I said to my accountant at the start of the year, I said, look, I'm going to want to be dodging selling these cars again because it feels like we're in a tough market. And now I'm going to have these issues that because it's going to make my months even worse. And he said to me, look, Jamie, let's take a chunk of the profit from last year and let's just wipe it off again. So write your stock down. I never write stock down. People say you must run a really efficient, proper, car dealership. I don't. Just make it up as I go along, like write down. I've never written cars down. But he said to me, look, Jamie, are you looking to sell your business? No. Are you looking to buy a house? No. Because again, I've had the big house move 18 months ago. I don't say big house move. I moved house to a house in the country. But so I didn't want to, I've always put everything through the books, as I always do anyway, in case there's anyone from the VAT Man watching the video.
Funny enough, we're just about to share this podcast, all the tax and VAT groups for you, Jim.
but I think, so I've always wanted to be as profitable as possible on the books with a view to mortgages and everything like that. So my accountant said to me, are you looking to move house? No. Are you looking to sell the business? No. He's like, well, if we take a massive chunk of money out, it's going to make this year easier and you're going to save a ton of corporation tax. So do the sums. Can your fragile ego cope with a figure going on company's house that's less than you want it to be? I said, of course I can. I'm a big boy now. I'm in my mid-40s, man. I got to so that's what we've done. So I've come into this year, and you'll have seen because I've sold some of the cars on the DealerWay platform. I have sold some of these cars, or I advertise them with issues. So I'm always very clear. If I'm selling a problem, I'm going to highlight it's a problem because I don't want. My reputation is key to me. My wife always says to me, "You worry too much about what other people think about you," but do you know what? My reputation to me is important, and it really is.
It is to everyone, isn't it? It should be.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
some
but it should be. It should.
Yeah, it should be. You're right. So,
which is what we're trying to create as well, aren't we?
Of course, of trust, transparency, reviews, and I get that, and I do understand that because that is it is an issue. It is an issue.
Massive.
So, But anyway, I've lost my thread as where we're at. But I've come into this year. As I say, we've written a load of stuff back. We have other issues in the business. We've had issues in the business. Prep's my biggest problem, guys. Prep has always been my biggest problem and probably will remain our biggest problem until, the business finishes. Not that I'm ever going to finish it. Do you know what I mean? But honestly, prep is, because of the nature of what we sell aspirational, miley, German cars, which, as we all know, are just fucking nightmare. Excuse my language. They're a nightmare. So, and again, I tell you how we work. So I advertise stupidly a car like literally seconds after I've bought it. It's not even on my site. I predominantly buy from auction. So as I get home on auction day, I go straight on my auction account. I'm ripping the photos off it, and I'm listing and I'm advertising that car. So often we'll sell a car before I've even paid for it, before it's even left the auction on.
And sorry, Jimmy, just to stop you there. And are you selling many cars using the auctions photographs as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the photos are terrible, but they're less terrible than a placeholder. Because if I see a placeholder, I just think, does the car exist? Does it not? Is it there? Is it not? At least if you can show them something. It's even the same. If we take a swapper in and it's buried and it's 5 days away from realistically getting cleaned and photographed, I say to me, photo man, fucking take one picture. I don't care. Just stand
Get
back.
it on.
It's a bit dirty, or just let the customer know it's real. You know, and it's because if I'm researching a car to market and I see a car with no pictures, I don't even look at it. And maybe I have a different set of eyes to a retail customer. I'm sure I do. It's like searching for cars on Auto Trader. I automatically, by default, go price high to low, and I search the way I search. But do consumers search that way? So sometimes we're pricing and doing things to how my brain works. But if the fucking population of this country's brain worked like mine did, we'd be fucked, honestly. So, you know, it's probably a good thing they don't. But again, it's about maybe trying to get your, mind like a buyer's mind. But yeah, I use those auction pictures. They're terrible. They're like the worst pictures in the world. Certainly the sites I use are. It's like the BCA pictures. I mean, you know, people put them on, and fair enough. I don't buy off BCA. But yeah, and then what happens is we sell the car. Since the pandemic, customers have become less patient than they were. They were very impatient before. You got in the pandemic, it was like, just take a month. We're in it together. It's fine. Take your time. You know, we know you're doing your best. And it was, we're all one big family. We've come out the other side. They're more impatient than ever. Like, fucking kind of now. They're petulant. They're childlike, aren't they? Customers now. So let's say I advertise a car on a Tuesday afternoon, and we take an order on it on a Thursday or a Friday. I haven't even paid for the car at this point. I'm not on auto release with this auction. So you get into like the following Monday, Tuesday, I'm paying for it. The car's then getting delivered almost a week after the customer's reserved it. And it's that Thursday. And they're almost like, well, if it don't come tomorrow, we're not having it. So it's like, right, straight to the workshop. It needs a headlight. I mean, I've said this 1,000 times, but I will say it needs a headlight. Okay, headlights are grand. And you're like, well, I can get one from Lithuania for 600 quid or 300 quid or 400 quid. But the customer's there. If I don't get it tomorrow, I'm not having it. So what do? You spend $1,000 with the dealer on the part. Suddenly this margin's just starting to get down and shrink.
How do you cope with that, though?
Look, I'm fucking hair's falling out, man. I'm fucking got my eyesight's fucked. I got glasses now.
It's interesting, Jamie, because we had Umesh on the pod very recently, and he was of a different viewpoint to you, which you know, everyone's got different views, and I suppose it works one way for him, it works one way for you. He said he wouldn't advertise a car until it was completely prepped, until it was like prepped to the nines, and the pictures were perfect, and it's we had to get like two total contrasting viewpoints.
He'd said that was based on numbers, though, wasn't it? If you
I suppose,
because he had a smaller amount of cars, you could do that. He said that, but when you get it, when you scale it, and there's a lot more stock, you've just got to keep them turning. Jamie, you know the cars you get from the auctions. Do you find when you're saying it's prep, is it the prep bill in general, as in like MOT failure stuff, or do you get caught out with stuff where you thought, you know, like gearboxes and things like that? Just
I can handle. I mean, again, and again, this is probably the wrong way to look at it, but if they ring me and say this car needs 4 tyres, 2 suspension arms, pads and discs all round, and a new battery, I'm like, great news. And it actually isn't, is it? The reality is, you know, I'm probably just signing off 700-800 quid there, maybe more. But for me, it's work that can be achieved by, as my most that's what I'm looking for, my most entry-level mechanic can do those type of things. So, but I'm all right with service art. I'm fine with that type of stuff. The issues are, it's had a DPF delete, there's an EGR issue, it needs a knock sensor, it's got a headlight fault, it's got a wing mirror fault, the engine's you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Got compression issues, just you know, smoking its nuts off, and we need to go deeper into it. It's just a headache or gearbox issues. And
you know, when you said you don't buy from BCA, is that because you've had a bad experience with BCA?
No, I mean, BCA tried to make me bankrupt and put a charge on my property until I paid them back. Other than that, I'm good with BCA. No. I actually, I didn't to start with. I took it personally, and I'm a twat for this. You know, business is business, and it's never personal. And you know, BCA lent my then business a chunk of money, and that money just disappeared, and they never got it back. So what do I expect a business to do? The business is going to take its actions to recoup its losses, and fair enough. But I paid him back. Do you know what I mean? So I did pay him back, which was nice. And yeah, I saw the head of partner finance at an awards a year ago, and I saw him. And you know, there was a little bit of, I saw him, I hugged, and we had the crack. And he actually said, we no one ever thought you'd pay us back, and actually we were rooting for you. I was like, yeah, fuck off. No, but you know what I mean? They were kind of wanting it because we realised that maybe you were in a situation that wasn't necessarily all of your doing, if that makes sense, and paid them back. And I tell you the only reason I've not bought off them again. So I had an account in lockdown. I was buying some stuff off them online, but they're fees, man. They're fees. But then again, fees are kind of irrelevant, because if you just factor into what you're prepared to pay for the car anyway, a fee is what it is, isn't it?
Matter, yeah, totally.
But it just was steep. I bought a 25 grand Range Rover. I think the fee was about £1,000 on it. You know what I mean? And it was like, fucking hell, it's heavy.
Who do you think's paying those fees really though, Jamie? Because I don't think it's you. I don't think it's the buyer. Yeah, it is.
The vendor,
yeah. The vendor's just getting a bit less for the car, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a bit of both, a little bit of both. I think we pay a little bit of it, and the vendor's paying a little bit of it.
Do you think they know that, or do you think it's sometimes the smaller groups that they get swallowed up by we'll sell your cars for free and we'll collect them for free and we'll not charge you anything to do it? Do you think it gets overlooked?
I think, I don't know, I suppose if the vendors are getting what they want for the cars, they're probably happy. And a lot of these auctions now, I'm sure, it's very competitive out there. So I'm sure the bigger groups are probably getting a deal whereby they're probably not paying. Do you know what I mean? They might be paid nothing. Do you know what I mean?
They get like a rebate. They'll get like £100 rebate a car.
Yeah, they're still paying, because if you're paying. Sorry, Jimmy.
But yeah,
if you're paying.
Oh, sorry again. Well, yeah. But with BCA, no, I found some auctions that was easy to buy off, and for me, and this is the thing with these trade sites, you know, like DealerWay and the other sites and stuff. I'm more of a seller than a buyer. And the reason being is I have to buy a volume of cars. Cash flow is extremely tight in the business. Self-funded, again, because of nearly losing my house for a stocking facility that got ran dry. We're self-funded. So every penny is so when I say they're not buying ones and twos of cars, the logic for me is, if I go to the block and I buy, say, like on Tuesday, I went to one site, I bought 14 cars. I know how much money I have to pay by a certain date for those cars. I know all those cars are going to get put on a transporter and get delivered to a point outside my business where we all know to go and get them. And all the documentation and keys will come. And if something comes and it's completely fucked, I have a relationship where I can just pick the phone up and it will go back and I'll get my money back for it. When you, as a small, if I had 30 cars in stock, then I would be all over the trade sites to buy stuff, because I'd need to buy ones and twos, but I don't. I need to buy 20 to 30 cars every week. And this is how it's easy for me as an auction. It's just, because, you know, when I buy the odd car and then suddenly it's like, I get a call, Jamie, have you paid for that car? You're like, oh, fuck. And it's a trader as well. So it's someone who you don't want to let down. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like relationship. And I say my reputation's key. There's times I've committed to cars where I've thought, I could really do with that dealer just ringing me and saying, do you want to come off it, Jamie? And it'd be brilliant. But do you know what I mean? So I think that's probably why I'm less of a buyer, more of a seller on those platforms. Not that you asked me that question, but I'll kind of link everything that I'm talking about back to the platform, guys. Little segue back in. But no. So I find it easy buying from auction. They're not perfect. they let's be right, they switch lights off. Their assured reports are a joke. Trying to reject a car if it's trying to put a claim through. I think one of the reasons I have a good relationship with the auctions I deal with is because I never really send anything back, and I never put a claim in, because I just find it's just like, honestly, so it's just hard work. So I just take the rough with the smooth. But what I do is I do my due diligence by being in the hall. So I listen to it start. I see what lights are on the dashboard. I disregard their assured report in essence, although if there's something obvious, I'll look at it. But I do my own report by walking around the car, listening to it and hearing it start. And that way, I tend to get it right most of the time. But I'm trying now, because I've got new people in my workshop, and I'll talk to you about my workshop and how it's changed in a minute. But I'm trying to buy less chancy cars, which I've built a business on. This is the problem. I've built a business on buying chancy cars, and more often than not got it right and got a good margin in stuff. But now, you know, practices were potentially happening, I think, in preparation that aren't happening now, if that makes sense. So rather than issues being dealt with, but they may return at a future date. Now it's like, no, let's put the fire out. I think that's right. No, let's stop the fire happening in the first instance rather than just dampening in the fire. And do you know what I mean? So we are prepping cars to a better standard with a view to making our lives easier. But, you know, buying cars back, it just heartache. Cars going out and faulting within a short period of time, so we're putting them in loan car, you know, and because of because customers' expectations are so much higher, you for the first 28 days you're like, please don't fault, please, like anything that we sell, just it's my dad. Oh God, I shouldn't say that. This is my dad. He's like poking into the office. What's going on? Leave me alone. Are
there any cars that you avoid buying, Jamie?
Yes. So,
well,
I did, but I'm back on them again. I wouldn't touch an Ingenium engine because I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm listening to them. There's no light on. You know, those F-Pacers, man. The punters love them. Disco Sports.
The 3 litres are all right, the F-Pace. I think it's the 2
Yeah,
litre.
yeah. It's the 2 litre. It's the Ingenium, innit? It's the Ingenium engine.
Yeah.
It's that engine. Evokes. We had 3.5-4 months ago, we had 23 Evokes for sale.
Jesus.
And I think I've got one left. Not buying
22 have come back.
Just, I mean, 2 I bought back from before that batch. I've just traded 2, blew 10 grand on the pack.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? They owed me
old shape ones or new shape ones, Jamie?
Yeah, old shapers, like 63s, 14s, 64s. I mean, one came off the transporter unbeknownst to myself, because again, whoever took it off didn't bother to tell me, but just gearbox shot. If I'd have kind of been aware straight away, I'd have had a chance of backing that car, but I didn't. Just loads of them. Just, yeah. And it's the heartache. And
I think it's a prep cost on them as well, because the one like rear cameras, or the radars, or the door locks, and everything's twice the price of a Ford or a Vauxhall.
I say door locks, cameras.
Jamie, can you not see the value in you know, I'm not just pushing DealerWay, but in being on a DealerWay or another Facebook group or something like that, you know, where you are dealing with a trader on buying a car like that, where if it did get dropped off, or if you did collect it and it did have those problems, that you won't have that chance to back it.
No, of course. I absolutely see the benefit. 100% see the benefit of it. Yeah. Like for me as a buyer, I just need to buy a bulk of cars in one go, and then I can, because I'm not just a buyer. Like I would suggest that most businesses with 200 and, I mean, I'll give you an idea. So I've got 222 cars advertised now for sale. Not what you can't see, and I do believe there's 72 cars with deposits against them waiting to be prepped and to go out.
Wow.
So I'm sure most dealers with that amount of cars probably have a full-time buyer whose job it is to just buy. It's like a day a week for me job. I do all the buying. I do all the advertising. I sales manage. I deal. I wipe the piss up off the floor in my own toilet because no one can fucking aim properly. I do a bit of everything. I do a bit of driving. I deal with screamers. I'll nip off to MOT. I'll go to the workshop. I'll be the comic foil to go out and get a grumpy customer laughing. Do you know what I mean? Or to go out and, where are you doing for the closer? So for me, I have to make my buying efficient, if that makes sense, and easy and quick.
Do you not think that you need another pair of hands to help you then? Do you not think
maybe I do? But, you know, when we look at what profit the business has made, year ending 2021, 2022, 2023, and then last year being less because of that shit second 6 months, and then me nicking a chunk of my money anyway. You know, this year, our first 3 months have been poor. They have. We've made profit. But we made a lot of profit. And you know what? I love the job. But the amount of profit we've made for the first 3 months is not, for me, sustainable for the amount of effort and work that's put in. Now, it's not all doom and gloom, because things are changing here. And I will also say I have noticed an uplift. Like, we are having what I would suggest is, we had a fair month last month, better than the previous months. This month, and we use the word flying because then tomorrow it'll just dry up again. We seem busy again. We do seem busy again. Now, I don't know if that's just me, and I feel revved and I feel motivated, because look, I just run back to how my workshop works. Okay, so I had a guy running my workshop who joined us in 2018. He was perhaps not the most technically gifted mechanic in the world, but he was a good man, and he worked hard, and he grafted. But the job's got more challenging, the cars have got more demanding, the job has got more demanding, and unfortunately, he wasn't the right person for the job. And over the period of the last 7 or 8 months, tried to change things, tried to help and support, moved his role, didn't work, and he decided to leave. It had been a cloud over the business for a while, and I'm not going to talk ill of somebody, because I wish them every success, and I do, and I'm extremely grateful for their part in playing in us getting where we've got to. You know, It's an integral part of that. It's helped me pay my debts off to BCA and everyone else. His hard work and efforts have helped me move house and helped us be in the position we're in. So I'm not talking badly of somebody, but because they were unhappy, it was a cloud. Certainly a cloud over the workshop, a cloud over certain members of the team. Now that cloud's gone, I must say that again, various members of the team seem to be a bit more positive and uplifted and happy, because it's changed, and the changes had to happen, and it's still happening. I've got a full-time parts guy coming. I don't know how you guys work with parts. You know, do you have a guy for parts? The amount of parts we have to order for all those cars that we sell and then send back and sort. I'm getting a parts man. I'm getting a part. The minute it's taking a really talented mechanic off doing what I'm paying him to do, which is fix cars. Do you order parts? I don't know if you order parts yourself.
We've got service advisors who order the parts and then arrange the bookings. But we do retail customers, not just our own cars. But you're right, though. It's, pulling the mechanics off to order, spend time on the phone when they should be on the cars. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
waste of time, innit? I've got a good guy, and I'm going to just give him a few other little roles to do, which he'll absolutely be busy. I mean, I've got a container with, I would say, tens of thousands of pounds worth of parts that have been ordered over the years and never sent back. I've got engines. We just looked earlier. We're having a clear through. You know, there's a nav card for a car that went out 6 months ago. 200 quid from Audi, you know, and I'm looking at it, and you just look at the waste. You look at, because we've not had somebody owning that particular role. And I think it takes for things to toughen up somewhat for you to start looking at everything. And you talk about me getting a buyer. So that's another wage. It's a responsibility. It's me, you know, not a fucking chance I'm getting a buyer. Not just not what you've said, because it probably would make sense to a certain extent, but I'm going to be honest with you as well. It's my favourite part of the job. I like going out and spending money. I don't really spend a lot of money. Scott's going to be like, you're a liar, Jamie. I know where you're going for a meal this weekend, but I don't really spend a lot of money in real life. I don't. I live a fairly...
You will this weekend, though.
I know. To be honest, it's a Christmas present. Although they got me a voucher for that. That's not even
nice.
If you mentioned there you don't spend a lot of money, Jamie. why the chase for money in your business life?
Well,
then?
it's
Is it
not
just the
the
thrill
chase
of it?
for money. I'm going to say this about business because it's not. I am not a. How can I put it? I'm maybe it's easy to say this because I'm in a comfortable position now.
Yeah.
But money isn't what drives me. Success drives me. But a byproduct of success in the motor trade tends to be money. So for me, if the business is making lots of money, it's not because I just want to go home and spend it. It's not. If it's making loads of money, that means we're winning. And I like winning. And I'm a bad loser. Which is why I've been fucking mardy and grumpy and pissed off for the last 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Because the result is not what I believe the effort and the work that we're putting in. And it got to a point where I was at home. This was a year and a half ago. It's like walking upstairs, like, I've got my new house. The business is flying. We're making loads of money. There's a big car on the drive. Everything's good. And I always said to myself, has it got easy? Has this got a little bit too easy? Maybe it'd be nice to get to the next level and it gets a bit difficult again. And then I've like soul searched for the last 12 months. Like, careful what you fucking wish for, you idiot. Why did you have this mental conversation with yourself where you thought like, yeah, come on, let's throw a curveball at me. So I've got a challenge. So something's really difficult again. Because like now, I look back at the times I moaned 18 months ago or 2 years ago, thinking I would love to be in that position of moaning, whereas now it feels hard work again. It feels graft again. I feel like customers have got just harder and unrealistic and I don't know. It's a challenge, but I know it's like with us now. So with my workshop, we lose a lot of deals because we can't prep the cars quickly enough. Okay. And also we spend a lot of money on parts because I end up buying expensive parts because of time pressures of getting the cars ready in time. If those two things were sorted, so I didn't have the deals cocked that currently cocked because the cars aren't ready quickly enough, and I wasn't spending the amount of money on prep. Genuinely, with a slower market, just with those two things sorted, the additional money we would make from those two things changing would pretty much put us back at pandemic profit. So I know what we need to do, and we're in the throes of doing it. But it just feels like it's taken. I thought it would take 2 months, 3 months. I've sent my general manager down to the workshop to run it. He's not a workshop guy. He's not a prep man. He's a process man. But I thought it'd be done in 2 months. This was Feb. It's like 6 months down the line. But we finally feel we're turning a corner. And come October, I've got more bodies coming, more reinforcements. I've took on some incredibly talented mechanics who just astound me with their ability to diagnose and fix things that no one else can fix. Like I'm blessed.
That's good.
I've got a secret. Honestly, I've got like a secret weapon down there, and he can diagnose and fix 7, 8 different problems in a day. Historically, would have gone to one garage and then another garage, and then it'd end up at dealer, and you'd end up just the parts cannoning or firing money at it. So I've got some real talent now. I just need to get through. There's like a glut of problem cars I've got that are just sat and they're just building up. And I've took a decision this month to say, cock the deal off. Just cock the deal off. Tell them there's a problem with it. Try and switch them. If they won't switch, send them the deposit back. Cars historically that we would have ended up spending 2 or 3 weeks, because I'm fixated on the bottom line thinking, look at that figure. I don't want to lose that deal because it's a big fat deal. But actually not realizing that if it spends 3 weeks in the workshop and you spend $2,000 worth of parts and it costs you getting another 4 cars out, that's actually giving you a big minus rather than, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I often say this to the team, and I'll say it to you guys quite openly, but I think the biggest problem in this business is me. I'm the problem. No, I mean it. I'm the problem. I am. And I am. And I have to, it's hard, man, at times. It is. And there's no one managing me. And
do you ever get any time to yourself though, Jamie? Do you ever take a few days off and spend with the wife and kids and get away from it?
Yeah. I do. So I work at home Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but then I say I work at home. Tuesdays I get on the road at 8 o'clock, and often I'm not back till 4 or 5 o'clock. And if you drive for 3 or 4 hours in a day and you go to a couple of sales, I am wiped out when I get home. I am like, what have you done? You've been stood in a hall eating bacon, buddy's having the craft.
You feel like jet lag the next day.
You wiped out, man.
It's like jet lag, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then on a Wednesday, I work from home, which in some respects, I kind of tell myself it's a day off. It ain't, because I've got an office at home and I sit in it. And on a Wednesday, I'm in and out of my office till 9 o'clock at night, which time I go in and go to bed. This is the problem. I've got a home office. So by default, if I get home tonight, I'll leave here between 6 and 6:30. I'll get home, I'll have my dinner. 7, 7:15. Mrs. will be like, walk the dog. All right, I'll go and walk the dog. At 7:45, at that point, I'll probably sneak off to the office and I'll go and rattle 3 or 4 adverts out, or I'll go and respond to a couple of emails, or I think, oh, fuck, I've got to do this, or I've not spoke to that customer, I've not done this.
Yeah.
So you talk about having some time off. Yeah, and I try and make the most of it when I do, because I am always at work. And that's something that, again, as business owners, operators, you know, it's difficult to switch off. Like I woke up this morning, I woke up at 5:30, and within 30 seconds, I'm thinking about a 1-star review we got the day before. And I'm saying to there's the little person in my head saying, Jamie, don't think about it. Focus on it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can't do anything about it. It's 5:30 in the morning. And do you know what I mean? You can't relax sometimes. Now I've dealt with that issue. I've spoke to that customer and he's deleting it. And it's nice because we've had a nice conversation. And he said, I thought it was just for internal feedback. I said, buddy, you go on Auto Trader now, you look at one of my adverts, someone clicks on dealer reviews, your big dirty 1-star is the first thing they're going to see. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to do that. I'll leave you 5. I said, I've not wrong you to bollock you. I said, and you know, the feedback you've put in your review does hurt, because the truth hurts, and you didn't have a flawless experience. So you're within your rights to feedback, but you need to understand as a family business. And I didn't go into the thing that first thing I thought about this morning was you. And then I couldn't get back to sleep. And then I'm in a bad mood. And then when my wife wakes up, or the boy wakes up, or the dog wakes up, that I'm a little bit sharp, or I'm not myself with them. But this is what the job does, unfortunately. And people who aren't in it don't realise it. And again, it's like my wife always says to me, Jamie, stop being too worried about what people think about you or your business. But she doesn't understand, you know, and I take great pride in my business and what we've done and what we've achieved and the experience that by and large we give our customers. So when we get a bad bit of feedback, it hurts me, man. I don't know how you guys feel when you get a bad review, but
it does, yeah.
I'm too soft. I don't know.
It's like a kick in the nuts, isn't it?
It's hard, but you know, so to give you an idea, I did have some time off. I went to Norfolk. I came in work till 1 o'clock on Saturday. I left. We'd done 4 deals. We'd done some handovers. There was bodies everywhere. I just got in my car, picked my wife up, and we went to Norfolk. And where I stay, there's really, really terrible internet, which is great. And this is what, again, when we're on the way home, like Lucy said to me, she's been so good, you not having any internet, because I've got you. I've had you for the weekend. I've had, and normally my missus hates me, you know. So for her to actually say it's been refreshing this weekend for me not to be competing with your phone, you know, was quite nice. So I will say this, Stephen, this year, after last year, I found last year really tough, and I think part of it on a personal level was, I've said this again to people before, but I'll say it again. I sound like a scratch record. Bit of the Tyson Fury effect. I had this goal, and my initial goal when I set the business up was to get out of the hole I was in. And I did that by the end of 2019. I paid everybody off. I got out of the debt. The charge was off my house. I owned my house again. Cool. Then bang, COVID. Fuck. There's another challenge, you know, in front of you. And got through that and didn't just survive. We thrived. You know, so you know, and I'm on the run then. Right. I'm on this mission. Right. We're going to make more money. And then for me, it was the house move. I wanted to move house. And having those 3 or 4 brilliant years helped me move to a house in the countryside where everyone's wanted to move. So I think after getting that house, there's been that slight emptiness of I've achieved some goals that I wanted to achieve. Mm-hmm. Now what?
What now?
Yeah, no challenge.
Yeah. So like last year, fucking hell, that first 6 months, as financially successful as we were, was 6 of the hardest months I've ever had. And I think personally, a lot of that was down to me not having this goal, you know, this target or this thing to go and achieve. So it's been hard for me. So last year I said to myself, next year I'm going to go and do things. I'm going to enjoy myself, because life is short. You never know what's going to happen. And I kept saying to myself, like, if something happened tomorrow and you realize you had 6 months, or fucking God forbid something happened and that was it, you were done, how would I have looked back at the last 6 months of my life? racked with fucking anxiety and stress and feeling unhappy. Nah, fuck that. Do you know what I mean? So like this year, don't laugh. I like a bit of pro wrestling, lads. It's like theatre for men, who don't like singing, but they like to see fighting. I don't know how to describe it, but, this year I flew to America to WrestleMania almost ringside. I've said to myself this year I'm going to do things, and I've done lots more this year than I would normally have done, which has been good. But fucking, the result's not where I want it to be. So as much as, yes, I've had some time out now, it's fucking, come on. Let's get this machine where it deserves to be, where it should be. I want a team full of people who are happy and not stressed. A lot of my team seems stressed out, and I get it, and I don't want them to be. I want them to have a nice life. I do, because they put the hearts and soul into the business. I want my team to have a happy, lovely life, a fulfilling life, where they can come to work, enjoy themselves, go home, relax, and fair, good money, and have the nice benefits of being in a car dealership. And that's important to me as well. And I'm putting a lot of pressure on them all. And I know that, not a screamer shouter, but I ask a lot of them, and there's a lot for them to do. If you think with the volume of cars we sell, I've got 5 salesmen, and 3 of them are main salesmen, and 2 are kind of doing other bits as well. And we're selling up to 150 cars a month, so the lads have got a lot to do, and the phone never stops here. The phone never, ever, ever, ever stops. So, again, I don't know how I got to this.
Have you got them on 5 days a week or 6? Or do they like rotate it?
They have day off in the week, and then 1 in 3 weekends off.
Yeah, and it rotated, yeah.
So 2, 1 off. The weekend, when they have the weekend off, they still have the day off as well that week. So they'll have 1-1-3, 1-1-3, 1-1-3, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then the holidays and the bank holidays. They do work a bit of bank holidays, but
How many staff you got overall, Jamie?
I think 21 now. So let's just do the count. Jack, Dunk, Howie, Cav, Liam, Craig, Meg, 7, Dolman the photographer, 8, 2 valeters, 10, a painter, 11, me, my mum, my dad, 12, 13, 14, 2 full-time drivers, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mechanics, and a partsman about starts 22, 23, 24 maybe, plus subbies.
What about Ian? What about Ian? Ian.
What? Is that say again?
Ian the cat. Honestly.
Dead.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, no.
Do you want to see her ashes?
Her ashes.
He doesn't come up her hair, does he?
So here we go, lads. So
DealerPod first.
This is the remnants of Ian. So there's a paw prints.
Oh, right.
That's a vial of her hair. No shit. Hold on. Her ashes are in there.
Let's see.
So so Ian the cat dead.
Oh.
Gone and not
I didn't know
forgotten.
that.
I mean, to be honest, she was old, and she used to just piss and shit wherever she wanted. Like, she'd just look at you and just start shitting on the floor. It was just like, okay, 18-year-old cat. It's good she's gone.
Yeah.
She stunk. But we miss her. We had a cat turn up a month ago. True story. New cat. So nice, so friendly, loving everyone, sitting with customers. We're like, we've got a new Ian. And as it happened, the cat had made it 20 miles. This cat had basically got in a decorator's van who was doing some work at the pub next door to us or something. And this cat just got in his van and then came here, joined us, lived with us for 3 days. And then someone put something out on Facebook, and then its owners drove 20 miles and took her back. But we thought we'd got our mascot back, or a new mascot, but there'll only ever be one Ian. And she's sat in this bag. It's just unbelievable. She's sat. There she is. Good
Jamie,
girl.
I hate to interrupt you, mate, but honestly, I think you're fantastic. I'm just looking at the clock there. We've done 45 minutes, and I haven't asked you a single question that I wanted to ask you.
Just keep asking. Just.
What's the next thing? You're just like, I've never met anyone who's.
We'll be here at 6 o'clock.
I've got to be honest with you. talking helps me. And I know I kind of joke.
That's a release.
Yeah.
But it helps. To talk about it. It's difficult. I've got an amazing team of people here. It's harder to talk to them about it. My wife has, I love my wife, she loves me, but she has fucking no interest in the business at all. Do you know, she has her own life.
How does your business in the way you are, Jamie, how does that affect your wife and your family then, do you think?
Terribly.
Yeah.
I've
got
terribly.
A bit of the same.
No, I don't want to say terribly, because I'm a good husband, or as good a husband as I feel I can be, and I feel I'm a good father or stepfather. I feel I'm good with my pets. I feel I'm at times probably a lousy son to my mum and dad, but that's probably because I spend most days with my dad. So it's different. You know, if I didn't see them here, my relationship with them would probably be different, you know. As it is, this is not knocking them, but because I see them every day and I spend most days with them, I don't really want to go around for dinner. I don't really have any interest in this. Sounds a horrible thing to say, and no, because they're going to listen to this, because it's going to go out on Facebook. So I love my parents dearly. I'd be fucked without them. They've done so much for me and made so many sacrifices for me and helped me get back in this position I'm in after I basically nearly destroyed their financial futures through some, you know, bad decision making and you know, business partner issues in the past. So I love them dearly and they're amazing people. But when you spend every day with them, you are then less likely to want to spend time with them at work. So in some respects, I feel like I'm a bad son at times, and I'm not. But do you know what I mean? I do think that at times I do. My wife has to tolerate my emotional roller coaster, which is in here, and I get that. But I have days where it's tough, lads, and I'll make no bones about it. And you know, I do my bit for Ben every year, and I joke about this as well. But the day's going to come when I ring Ben, and I'm going to get my money's worth out of him. I'm going to get my money's worth out of him. I've raised a lot of dough from over the years, and the snap, click, it'll go. I'll be on that helpline. They won't be able to get me off the phone. I'll be like talking to them for like 3 days straight.
How much money you raised, Jamie? Do you
know? So last year on Bangers about 13 grand. Year before about 10 or 11, and then about 7, and then 5. But again, doing stuff through the car sales dealer group, auctioning stuff off. They've helped raise money there. And I'm going to run a marathon now. So, and again, the donation you put in is very grateful. And a couple of the members of the group have chucked in as well, which is...
Oh, that's good to hear.
Which is brilliant, you know. And again, I'm a fat, out of shape, you know, heart attack waiting to happen on legs. And, you know, midlife crisis, running a marathon next year. But again, on Bangers for Ben last year, but maybe know the story or not, somebody entered me as a piss take into the 2025 Ben marathon team, and I got an email a month and a half ago to say you're in. I said, what? So I showed my wife again, and she laughed, and then she said, why didn't you do it? She said, because how can I put it? If you put your mind to something, Jamie, you can do it. Yeah. I'm like, my wife never says nice things to me like this, like. And quite rightly, she said it'll be good for you mentally, because I am mental at times. And check me out, I'm mental. But I am, you know, not in a fun way. No, I am, you know, and I think that's part of the job. So, and again, I woke up yesterday morning, like, you know, and I'm working from home that day, and I could feel the doom and the gloom over me. You know what I mean? For no reason. And I got my running gear on, and I went and ran for like 35 minutes. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I was just piss wet through, and I came back and I was buzzing. Do you know what I mean? And the gloom had gone. And I'm like, right, fucking come on. I'm fucking having it today. Do you know what I mean? And suddenly my mood had dramatically increased by fucking, you know, really badly running around the block. So I think, tough at times for my family. But my family mean everything to me. They do, as I'm sure everybody's families do. Do you know what I mean? But I'm very lucky to have very supportive parents, very helpful parents, and my home life is great. You know, and she certainly doesn't pander to me. You know, I'm certainly not the boss when I'm at home. When I'm cool with that. Do you know what I mean? I'm really fucking cool with that. She leads the way. She's right about most things. Clever girl, good girl, great mum. she's ace, and I'm very lucky that she tolerates the worst of me at times. But we're dealing at the minute, so she's getting the best of me. We did 10 yesterday, and I wasn't even here. Do you know what I mean? So I got the call from the outside office, and she's like, "Dinner's ready." I'm like, "Oh, we were right in," and then she just like came in, and I walked in. She's like, "Oh fucking hell, sold a few cars." I was like, "Yeah, I've done 10."
You can't get rid of that grin, though, can you?
And she had, like I always say to you, Jamie, when you're not there, they do really well. What does that tell you? But no. So yeah. So anyway, sorry, I'm waffling on.
So getting back to what I wanted to ask you 50 minutes ago.
Yes.
It's about obviously you've touched on it a couple of times about your previous business, and
yes,
I just wonder if you could maybe delve a little bit deeper into that for and what happened. I just obviously not all the audience members that will be watching or listening to this might be aware of it, but just to give them a bit of background, like I think I said at the start, I'd sort of like stumbled across you on Facebook.
Yes.
And obviously myself, I was starting out in running my own car dealership, and
yes,
I used to watch the videos you guys used to put out, you and the General, was it your business partner? And I was always amazed, to be honest with you, how I just didn't know where you had the time to do all that. It was like you were running a production company on the side of a car business, but it was great. The content was like, it was authentic, it was genuine, it was like rough and ready, and it was it was out there.
That is it is authentic, and it was. So just to give the story some background. So I got in the trade when I was 20 in 2000. By 2010, I was ready to go on my own or with my then best friend, business partner. And we set up a business, set up with loads of sale or return cars, had a small pot of money. And initially with Facebook, I think it was an ego thing a little bit. It was like to kind of tell everyone who I knew, and in Derby, like, look, got a car dealership now. Do you know what I mean? And at the time, Facebook was had been banned in lots of car dealerships. I remember I set my Facebook account up when I was at Bristol Street Motors, and it took about a month and a half for the company-wide thing to block Facebook, because they realised that productivity had dumped. That was a time when you could finger people on Facebook, if you remember. I'm sorry to do that crude motion. You'd poke them, wouldn't you? You'd poke people, and you'd play Scrabble on your wall, and you'd flirt with people.
It was Farmville, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could fucking waste days on there. And it kind of got shut down. So when we opened, it was like, we got Facebook again. We're not in a fucking dealership anymore. We can go on Facebook. And hold on, let's set up a company page. And then saw there was professional competition enterers on there. You'll probably remember it, Scott. Again, I remember doing bits and pieces as well with Facebook. So it was free as well, and it was a way of marketing the business. And if I look back now, I think it was something that we could have exploited significantly more. You're right. Where was the time? It was like, Nick, come here. Bear in mind, I'd known this lad since I was 16. So we'd grown up together. We'd been to college together. We'd speak to each other every day. We were clubbing together. We had girlfriends who were mates together, and when you've spent so much time and you're so close with somebody, it's just normal, natural. Like, Nick, come here, let's do a video. What are we going to do a video? Fuck knows. Right. And then I remember, like, one day it was, right, we're going to do the weather report. And I had a chalkboard behind me, and I was like, right, welcome to the CarQuay weather report. Look over here. It's the main dealers. It's a bit gloomy. Let's go to the big car supermarket. Fucking frosty as fuck. Get yourselves to CarQuay. The sun's shining. The deals. You wouldn't sit there and like plan these things for fucking days. It's like literally you'd think of it there and then. It's like, right, fuck it, just film me, stick it on. And there was a natural relationship between two people who had spent such a significant amount of time together that felt natural and felt real, which is what it was, And
it came across in the videos, though.
It was, but that's
why
your
personalities were totally different, mate.
Yeah, but that was why we got approached by. We did the TV show, didn't we? Use Car Wars, so
yeah.
We got approached by a TV company, and they were like, "Look, we've seen the videos, and you've got a little rivalry with another dealership, and we think we can make a TV show out of it. Would you be up for doing it?" Like, oh, let me have a think. Yeah, of course we are. Come on, get in, get the cameras in. Let's get going. But obviously, that business was very much ran with facilities, with stocking. I can sit here now and say I didn't have a handle on the money. I didn't. it wasn't necessarily by design, but when you have a trusting relationship, you just, let things ride out. My focus in that business was social media, marketing, and dealing. Well, I tell you now, we did social media really well. We sold lots of cars, and we had a really good sales team, and we were dealing lots of cars. But I can't sit here and look back and say that any one particular thing was not my fault, because ultimately my name was on the deeds for the business. Well, not the deeds for the business. It was my business. So there's only one person who I can blame as being responsible for the situation I found myself in as I came out of that business. My fault. I can't say anything else other than the fact that I was in that business and I did not have a handle on the finances, because it wasn't my responsibility. But it fucking should have been. And I should have had a handle on it, and I didn't. And by the time I realized things that were happening in the business and irregularities that were happening, it was at that stage that I decided to get the fuck out of that business as fast as possible for my own sanity and for my family's, how can I put it, to try and get my family out of that situation. Because bear in mind, I'd underwritten stocking facilities. As I look back now, in essence, the other party basically didn't have anything. I didn't see it. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't stand to lose anything, whereas I stood to lose everything. I stood to, when they come calling and these facilities are being ran in the red, they're going to come back for the money. And if there's two parties who've underwritten it and one party's got fuck all, what they're going to do, they're going to go to the other party and try and recoup their losses. And that's unfortunately what happened. But I tried to escape. I managed to get some of my parents' money out, but not anywhere near all of it. You'd be pleased to know there is a happy ending to the story. I've paid them back. Man. And now they basically work for minimum wage, which is great. No, I'm only joking. No, they got paid back, and it was a tough time. It was a very tough time because, you look at your life's work, reputation, people knew about the business. People did. And we were one of the first dealerships to really embrace social media, I believe. There were a few others.
I still don't think there's anyone, even now, 10 years later, that does it as well as what you did it back then.
Well, how can I say it? I find it hard to take compliments from people, but I appreciate you saying that.
And what I don't understand, and you may have the answer, why don't you still do it?
So and you're right. So I've often thought, why don't I? There's some great people who do stuff on social media. So Emerald used to do a lot of good stuff. They had the Emerald Show, which was actually quite a watchable program, even though it was their own kind of pet project. Shifting Metal, I've started watching some of his stuff.
Yeah, I've been watching Joe.
Just a very nice, unassuming,
good guy, isn't he?
Normal guy going about his business and documenting it. And it's very watchable. There's other people I watch their bits and pieces. There's other people who do some socials. I almost every day I ask myself the same question, and I say to myself, could you create engaging content that people would want to watch? And I categorically believe I've done it before, and I believe I could. But then I always say to myself, well, what for what reason? What are you looking to achieve? What is the goal? I had an opportunity to go on a TV show about 18 months ago, and it was round about the house move, and there was a big cash prize for winning it, and it was on a main TV station, not a Dave like Used Car Wars. But and I got accepted to go on. There was like 12 people in it, or 15 people. And then I said to myself, as I was getting close, I was like, what could you get out of this, and what could you lose out of this? When you do the old pluses and minuses, what would be the? And I looked at the business, which at the time was flying. So okay, and I was about to get to the house move. So I thought, well, and this show would have involved me going away for a month, being locked away. Okay. And I said to myself, like, what do you stand to gain? Well, if you won it, you'd get that. Is it life-changing money? I sound like a twat saying this, but no, not in relation to. It's not. It wasn't. So,
what was the show?
Hey,
what was the show?
I don't know what I'm saying, man. It's been embarrassing.
Come on, what was the show?
He's going away for a month.
It sounds like a BBC One show.
It was a show on Channel 4.
When you go to a house.
fuck it, I say it. It's a show called Rise and Fall. It was a TV show about where they had people. There was people at the top of the building were controlling what was happening to the people in the bottom, and over a period of time, you had to finish up in the penthouse, and you'd be the winner. And if you won about 100 grand. It was on Channel 4. I think it was hosted by Greg, one of the Radio 1 DJs and stuff. But it was going to be filmed at the time when I was moving out. So part of me was like, fuck, didn't necessarily want to do it because of that, because if there's a complication with the house. But then I actually sat there and I looked at what are the benefits and what could come out of it. And I looked at the negatives and thought, well, if I say the wrong thing at the wrong time, or if something came out in the press, or if the show got really popular, and then stuff about my old business came out, with someone saying, I never got paid for this, that, the other, there could have been an overriding negative effect for my business. And I looked at my life at that time and thought, well, actually, I've got a successful business, a happy life. The fuck am I doing? Why do I want to go and potentially fuck all those things up? For what? For to see myself on a TV screen? Again, is it ego driven? Is that why I wanted to go on? No, I'll be honest with you, I want to go on because I want to win. Because I like winning. Do you know what I mean? And, I want to succeed. And it was a bit of a competition, a challenge, but I looked at the benefit. So as we look at social media now, when I opened this business, it took about 4 weeks or 5 weeks for somebody to go on Twitter and say something extremely negative about my old business and directed it towards my new business. And at that point, I just felt like it was hard enough anyway for having put my family and my friends through all those things. It was hard. I employed a lot of people who were close to me. I lost a lot of friends and close acquaintances, or relationships changed because of that old business. And I went through a lot of shit. So to then come fresh and start again, and I'm going to do this, to be attacked online. And again, nobody would give a fuck. And this is, again, the problem. We worry about that 1 out of 1,000 people. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes. But it hurt me. So I thought, fuck that. I'm doing nothing on social. So I have no Facebook page for this business and will not have one, because So we've got Instagram, which I've historically done quite consistently with. You then come in 6 months into last year, it's coming up to award season. I'm like, I want to win a social media award. So then, you start really churning the content out. I set up TikTok. I'm churning TikToks out. I'm bashing content out on all three. I'm trying to put 2 pieces of content on a day. It's just stress you out, man. Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, even if it's just a picture of a customer, here's Dave picking up his new car. Doesn't his car look great? It's hassle. It's obligation. It's something else I have to do, man. So...
Can I just interject there, though, Jamie?
Yeah, man.
How much? I'm not going to ask you where you advertise, but how much do you spend on advertising, if you don't mind asking?
So Auto Trader, 23 grand a month, and then
you're
the rest.
You're going to think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think, because I spend a lot of money on Facebook advertising my business and have done for the last 10 years. I think with your personality, your previous experience of being the sort of center of attention, a car dealer sort of on Facebook, I think if you put that to work now with 22 grand a month instead of spending on Auto Trader, I don't think it would get your return on investment back for a few months. But I think after a while, if you spend 20 grand a month advertising yourself and your business and the people that work inside your business on Facebook, I think you'd sell 400 cars a month.
I mean, I don't know. Again, you may be right. I look at, again, some of these YouTubers, and I think to myself, well, there's potentially a living to be made there. But then I ask
because
myself,
everyone's attention is there, though, isn't it?
I know.
Do you know what
then
it is?
I ask myself, what do I want to put myself? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's a difficult one, because I question it all the time. I do. But I will tell you now, not having posted anything on social media, on the work social media for a week and a half, feels quite nice. It's like, but then maybe that's just, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Maybe I should have someone doing it for me in the business, but then I'm a fucking stickler for spelling, punctuation, for the image of what goes out. So if I employed somebody to do it, am I going to want to vet every post they put up, and am I going to tweak it? At which point I might as well just do it myself.
You need to know when to let go, though, don't you?
It's hard. It is hard. Yeah. It's like with buying cars. Like I said to you, I know what we sell here and I know what I like to buy. And you know, I just would, but I don't know, but yeah, you look, you're right. It's a question I regularly ask myself, and it's something where I do think, should we do it or should we not? And
I'm selfishly trying to push you towards it because I want to keep watching it.
Yeah.
Didn't you at one point have Bret the Hitman Hart on?
Yeah, in fact, I've actually got a signed picture of him there. He's got Shawn Michaels locked in a sharpshooter there. Yeah, my pal was I've got Kurt Angle one as well. Signed Kurt Angle, man. Look at him, mate. What a guy. They're randomly in the office for some reason. But no, my pal managed darts players. He liked wrestling. He got an opportunity to put like a UK wrestling show on, and then got a couple of ex-WWE people, and then through that, reached out to Bret. We flew to America to watch WrestleMania. And
Ric Flair in the cabin. Did you not have Ric Flair at one point in the cabin?
We did. Ric Flair was there. Kurt Angle.
Crazy.
You know, Kurt Angle. What? Is Carla the best car dealership in the UK?
Yeah.
It's true. It's damn true. You know, like, I watched this guy, man, the Attitude Hero when I was a kid.
Yeah, I wasn't
a kid, but I watched Bret Hart when I was a kid. Hacksaw Jim Duggan and $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. I mean, I remember walking out the front of the dealership and there was a big guy there. I looked up at him. He's fucking huge. Hey there, Ted DiBiase. I'm like, $1 Million Man. And I remember, just so excited. We had Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man, ex-UFC fighter. He was there. I met some fucking right characters, man. Do you know what I mean? Through the job, boxers. And I look back and more of that kind of farcical stuff was in my old business. You know, one thing when I opened this business, I was like, look, I need to kind of get away from that and just focus on the job, focus on the job in hand. But we need to always remember that we should have fun. And sometimes those things lift everybody, they lift the business, they lift the site, they create a lift. So I do think about it, Stephen. When you talk about it, I do. And I could, like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it half-arsed. So if I do it, it's going to be like, I've got to fully be in and on board. And I don't know if I'm at that point in my life now where I really want to go share me inner workings, me inner site, like me with the world, and equally the stuff that comes with it. Because I look at some of these other people who do lots on social media or YouTube or whatever, and you get in the comment section, and 1 in 10, 1 in 15, 1 in 20 people is a bellend, and they'll say something that just, and I'm not fragile. Maybe I am a bit fragile ego-wise. I don't know. But if I woke up at 5:30 in the morning thinking about a 1-star review the business had received for some issues a customer had experienced, how am I going to cope with, look at this fat twat again, or this bellend doesn't know what he's on about, or do you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know if I'm up for it. I don't know because ultimately, like, again, my wife always says to me, "It's like, you want everyone to like you, and not everybody is going to like you, Jamie, in life. And some people are just going to think you're a prick, and you have to accept that." Although I find it difficult because then I think, well, no, if they think I'm a prick, I need to deal them to a point where they know I'm not a prick and win them over. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's again me wanting to deal all the time, like I'm selling all the time. So if I see a bit of hostility at someone, I'm like, I'm going to spin you around. You're going to like me.
On the other point of it, on the other side of it, though, Jamie, I mean, I get what you're saying, but you're always going to get that with the internet, no matter what you do, whether you're selling cars, if you're selling meat, you're always going to get the idiots like that. Yeah. The way I used to look at it is, if I was going to buy a car, if I lived anywhere near Derby, I mean, I was in the motor trade, I'm never going to go to a dealer to buy a car, but if I wanted to buy a car, I would have come to you to buy a car. I wouldn't even have looked on Auto Trader.
No, well,
honestly, because you captured my attention massively. Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see where.
I think you're going to need a signed Jamie poster in your office.
Oh, honestly, it's like me.
Love it.
Jamie meeting Bret the Hitman Hart. It's like me meeting him. Honestly, because I probably, the thing is, it sounds crazy, but I've probably watched, because 10 years ago, I probably watched everything he's done. I don't know if it was because obviously I'm a car dealer and I'm in the car game, and it resonated that way as well. But I was like in awe of what he's done, because I seen that as like sort of the future. And obviously people's attention spans were shifting to social media and what have you.
I know.
And I looked at it and I just thought, I would love to do that in my own business. But in the same way you talk about ego and what have you, my ego sort of got the better as, and thought, well, at the time I was like only a one-man band, and I thought, well, who the fuck's going to want to watch me? Do you know what I mean? And I never sort of had the balls to do what you've done, you know?
Yeah. And, if you look at like TikTok, for example, and I don't know if you follow Spudman, the guy who sells potatoes.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone follows Spudman. Guy sticks a fucking GoPro on his head and serves fucking spuds out of a wagon throughout the day. And I find it really interesting. I watch a builder doing a garden, or I watch like someone cleaning, and I like to watch people doing jobs. It's fucking weird. And then I say to myself that if I enjoy watching somebody serving baked potatoes all day, I reckon he'd probably enjoy watching a car dealer going and buying cars from auction and doing them up and selling them and marketing them and understanding what happens behind the scenes. And evidently people do, because there's multiple YouTube channels. I talk about Shifting Metal because I met a guy, he came in, spent some time here, and he's a lovely guy. Just a nice guy, and I wish him every success. And his channel seems to do really well. And I look at his channel and I think to myself, like, bloody, how does he have the time to do it? How does he have the time to do it? But I think he did something the other day where he said he doesn't have AutoTrader. I don't know if I actually watched the episode or it was just a blurb. I saved this amount of money by not using AutoTrader. And I don't know if he does or not, but, if he's shifting metal, no pun intended, because that's why his show's called, if he's doing that without the big marketing spend off the back of his channel, then again, it goes to show that there's more than one way to skin a cat, isn't there? So,
I'm sure he's just took on his second video editor, and I was watching one of his YouTube videos.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, there is some investment in it to make it work, but it is watchable. Like I say, I like watching people at work. It's sad, isn't it? It's sad.
It's weird, isn't it?
I'd rather watch someone working than watch, EastEnders or something like that. X Factors, that's still a thing. It probably isn't. I don't watch a lot of telly anymore. Watch a bit of Family Guy, man. That's about it. You know what I mean? And the odd film, but yeah. So yeah, maybe there's a missed opportunity. Maybe there is an opportunity to jump into it further down the line. I've got a big project on my hand at the minute, and that's basically getting CarQuay to be as profitable as it has been in the last few years. And I say I've got that job. I haven't. It's a shared responsibility with the team, and we are making progress. We are. And I just want to make life. And I will say that if any of my team are watching this video, I hope you are. I want to make it easier for you all. I do. I promise you. I'm extremely grateful for the work and the effort. You're all in every single day here. I just want to make it easy for you. And I'm trying. I promise you. I'll make it easier. I will. We'll have a great time. We'll live the dream. Sorry, my little pitch to my team there in case anyone's watching. But I do. And as I say, we're in that period now. And within 2 or 3 months, I genuinely believe it's going to be not plain sailing, but the job is going to be significantly easier for everyone. And off the back of that, we'll sell more cars, make more money. So maybe once that's done, then let's have a look and a think about how we can perhaps market ourselves differently moving into the coming years.
Jamie, with your stock profile, are you still
Sorry.
So your stock profile, you won't have touched electric cars then yet?
I have. I only seem to have issues with electric cars. I just, to the point where I don't want to buy them. We sold a Model X the other day, and the guy said the door closed on his wife. It's gone through a third-party finance company, and they're asking for an unwind. And got an email saying, "Can you send us 28 grand back, please?" I'm like,
just having a good experience.
I don't want to. Tesla are notoriously difficult to speak to. I mean, this is really annoying. We sold a Tesla 7 weeks ago, and it had some issue again, some locking door issue thing. Model X again. So we sent it to Tesla Nottingham. You can't ring them. You cannot ring them. You end up speaking to someone in Amsterdam or Holland, wherever their base is. You can't speak to the site. You have to request calls back. It's a fucking nightmare. So after 6 or 7 weeks of it being there, finally gets done. And we send the driver to pick it up. And I got a text message from a guy I know really well. Fucking hell, I've got a couple of your team here picking up a Model X. I'll send a couple of Tesla water bottles back with him for you and Craig. I was like, what the fuck do you do at Tesla? He said, this is my site. I run this site. And I was just like,
No
fuck's sake. Like, I could have rang him on day one, probably had my car fixed and back that week.
Yeah.
The 24 grand had been in the bank. You know what I mean? And fucking just...
Now you know that, you need to start buying some more then.
I know, but I just still say I've not. I bought a Model S 15 months ago, 160,000 miler, so cheap. Jesus. And I parked it up, and it's still parked. I'm a fucking idiot, and I just need to just address it. And it's sat there, and it's another problem car I've got to get rid of. And he's like sat like you're shaking your head at me. I know. I shake my head at myself constantly because I've probably now got, and I've gotten rid of a lot of it. There's probably still 150 grand tied up in problems, you know, and that 150 is realistically probably 80 or 90 now. Do you know what I mean? And I just need to get them gone, and I will get them gone. And I'm going through a process of getting them gone. It just hurts, man. I hate losing money on cars.
So with you buying that test, you have like a mileage cap. Do you just take each car on its own?
I was
merit?
in the hall and I thought I can buy a Model S for like $8 grand. Fucking hell. And I did. At the time it booked at 11, but everyone didn't want to stick their hands up for it. And I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it. Yeah. But it came and then it had a flat battery, you know, the little battery that starts the thing up. And then again, it's just, we're busy. It's like now I need to go and address that. But there's probably 100 more important things that I need to address. So some stuff just gets put off. Like I've said to you, I think twice already on this podcast, I'm the problem in the business. You know, I'm the problem. I need, sometimes I need managing, you know, which is difficult, you know, at the best of the times. Ask my wife, you know, she tries to manage me and I get annoyed. And, you know, home, she's like, you know, you're not king of your little kingdom here, you know, with respect, Jamie, I'm not just going to pander to what you say and do what you fucking want, you know, and it's like, oh, well, why not? You know, but she doesn't, you know, and so anyway, so EVs, I've had, we sold a Leaf once, family arrived, the thing had like 68 miles, it was like an older one, small batteried one, and they lived like 73 miles away. And it only had a home charger. It didn't have a thing. And I remember seeing them all get in it and drive off. And I was thinking, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to get home? I mean, that's not why I wouldn't sell them. You know, it's just, I suppose, an isolated incident. But you know, like C350Es, you know, I've had one with a battery go on that. And the battery from Merck's $9 grand. And it's difficult to buy a used one. And it just takes the fun out of it. I've had people who've complained about the range not being what it should be and then trying to back cars on us because they're advertised with Auto Trader says 140 miles range and they're getting 60 or 70. And then they're trying to reject the car. And I'm like, I can't accept a rejection because a car is not delivering the range that Auto Trader say it would have delivered from new. That's not, do you know what I mean? Without being harsh, it's just, but it's more the faults with him and stuff. And we are going to have to do more EVs. We are. It's just inevitable.
That's what I was asking. It's going to evolve, isn't it?
I see all these new models on the road. I see these cars and I look at them and I'm like, what is that? What is that? They just look like these generic, weird looking things. I don't know how you guys feel about EVs, but I just can't get excited or passionate or revved up about them in any way, shape, or form.
I don't understand why they always try and make them look totally different. Like, why can't they just make like an Astra just look like an Astra but make it electric? You know, it's weird, isn't it?
All these things said, though, I've just bought Lucy a Golf E. Just looked cheap. It's a 69 plate Golf E, done sensible miles. I think I give $6 grand for it. Mm-hmm. It's like, what?
Very cheap.
It's like 1 second. I'm just going to check spreadsheet, guys. I'll tell you exactly what I paid for it. Golf. Where is it? Where's a Golf?
To be fair, in the last 6 months, EVs have dropped dramatically.
Electric Golf. 42,000. Sorry, I've exaggerated there. 42,000 miles, 68 plate Golf E, and I've given 6,800 quid for it. And what was that new? Would that have been a 30 grand car with it being an EV? I don't know.
Easy.
And she's just said to, I said, like, are you all right with your car? She's like, yeah, I love it. Sound. It gets to work and back in it. Do you know what I mean? But So, in some respects, I'm so anti-EVs.
10,000 miles.
Hey?
Cost you a couple of £100 to do 10,000 miles, isn't it?
And she's not a car person. And to be honest, I didn't expect her to be, but she's like, no, it's just easy. And she preferred it. She had a GTE maybe 18 months ago, which is the plug-in hybrid petrol 1.41. I don't know if you've had any GTEs, but she had one of those before, but she said, no, this is much better. It's just smooth. So it will be smooth. It's not got an engine. it's like a battery. You just stop and go, and that's it, isn't it? So you don't have to change gear. But yeah, it's difficult for me, Scott, to answer that question specifically. I am not massively embracing it, and I feel that I think some of the manufacturers are pushing back a little bit. I hear whisperings at like BMW and maybe Mercedes and even Volkswagen still pushing on with a lot of their petrol and diesel technology, even though officially they're not going to be able to sell those cars in X amount of years. Or maybe I'm just being fed shit. I don't know, but I just can't. I don't know. Am I in 2030 thinking what happens then? The used values of what do they call conventional powered engines? ICE, internal combustion engine cars.
Yeah.
ICE for me was always in car entertainment. What ICE have you got? I've got a set of Pioneer 6B9s on the parcel shelf, man. I've got the head unit with the dolphin, man.
With the dolphins on.
All that type of shit on it and stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. I just wonder, are we going to get to that point then where there's a resurgence in workshops? Because all these workshops spring up that are basically there to keep these cars that were pre-2030 alive. And then we end up having 20 or 30 years where cars are just kept going because people don't want to go to EVs. Does it just change? And they say, fuck it, car manufacturers, you can make petrols, you can make diesels, you can make EVs, you can make what the fuck you want. Do you know what I mean? Or I don't know. I just
it's like all the insights, isn't it? That at the minute are saying, and if you look at the manufacturer registrations, a lot of it is EV or hybrids, and they say they're all pushing from COVID really when it all changed, and a lot more petrol engines, manufacturers dropping diesel engines, and they're sort of forcing it down that route. And like you say, is there going to get to a point where diesel's going to be are going to go up in value because people want?
I know. Who knows? But they're saying like manufacturers now, and I listen to snippets, listen to the odd car dealer podcast, and read the odd article where they're saying that manufacturers, if they're not hitting the quotas, they're going to get fined 15 grand a car. So the manufacturers are now having to push their customers to buy EVs because if they don't sell enough EVs versus registrations of petrols and diesels, that they get hit with these ridiculous fines for every registration. And it's a classic example of like a government getting involved in, on paper, it looking like what they're doing is good, but it has unintended consequences, which then fuck everything else up, for want of a better expression. Sorry to keep swearing. I don't know. So then those manufacturers, what they're going to do? Well, we can't sell any more petrol or diesel engines because if we do, we're going to lose money.
I looked one of the weekend because I drive an EV. I went camping and we got talking about, look, we're not going to do tents anymore. We're going to get a caravan. And I'm like, right, let's have a look at the towing weight of the caravan, of the car, and it can only tow a ton to 1,200.
Right.
Well, in caravan world, that's nothing. So then you think, well, wait a minute, all these people who have got caravans, how are they going to get into the EV world? They're not. Then the consequences of going down the lines of what's going to happen to camping sites and all the way down. You just didn't think of that part of it. No,
it's funny you mentioned that. I was talking to somebody who went and bought a Model X as a tow car, and basically found that it obliterated the range. Do you know what I mean? And it couldn't. And what was the other one I remember? Oh, someone going on holiday and parking an EV at a car park for like 4 weeks, and then when they came back, the battery was very low. And they ended up having to drive, and then they had to get a charge point, and there wasn't the first.
Suddenly they're into so long.
And suddenly they're into whether it's true, it's bollocks from the pro fossil fuel lobbyists or whatever. I don't know, but you do hear these stories, and I don't know. I just, like you say, tow in, and as soon as it gets to winter and you load that thing up, we've bought a e-tron. we've got an e-tron on the forecourt, and I've had it 5 or 6 months, and we'd provisionally sold it to one of the team's mums. She had it over the weekend. This is a car that was, again, 70 odd grand new. The range was realistically 100 miles range. You know, all right, it's a bit mileage. It done 97, 98,000 miles. So we got it booked into Audi to say that this isn't delivering what it says. And they said, well, we have to do a battery degradation test on the vehicle. And from there, we'll let you know. And if the battery's degraded over 70%, if it's less than 70% in the 6 years or 100,000 miles, we'll replace the battery. But Audi had never done a degradation test. So the manufacturer of these cars, who offer this warranty on the battery, when then challenged about the battery not doing what it needed to do and had to carry out what we would suggest is a fairly rudimentary test on the battery of the car, didn't know how to fucking do it. This is Audi. This is a prime main dealer. They subsequently had the car 2 months and finally came back and said the battery's at 71%. So we've got a bit more charge into it now. It now charges to 130 or 135. And I was like, well, you know, and equally, because it was difficult because I was trying to talk to Audi without them saying, you're a car dealer. Foxtrot Oscar, Jamie. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I was doing it on behalf of her because she was having it. And then in the end, she's not had it. And by the time I got the car back, guess how much the car had dropped in the book?
Oh, fortunes.
2.5 grand.
Yeah.
Guess what Audi charged me for all the fucking around? 850 quid.
Okay.
For the tests and the time and the labour they'd put in it. So, again, another reason why I just don't have love for them. That car's now on the pitch. It's up at less than Civ. And, you know, hopefully we sell it. But then we're going to sell it. And then whoever buys it is going to be like, Range is a bit shit on this, isn't it? And then we have to say, well, it's right. It's Audi have seen it. They've inspected it. And that's really the only saving grace. I've got like a full seal of approval from Audi to say this car is operating and performing in a manner that it should do. So, and it's had a clean bill of health. It cost me 3.5 grand. But do you know what I mean? At least you can sell it with confidence now. But that's a potential argument with a customer waiting to happen. If the person who buys it is like Lucy or like me, lives 15, 20 minutes away from work, and those big long journeys are a couple of times a year, it's a different matter. But if somebody's buying that in that the manufacturer says it's 200 miles range, needing to do a 50 to 70 to 100 mile one-way trip most days a week, it's not going to be fucking any good for them, is it? They're going to be trying to find a reason to make me have it back. You know, which is a frustration. But yeah, so not feeling the EVs, Scott and lads, mine, Stephen, man, not feeling them. Not feeling the EVs.
Can I ask Jimmy where you advertise that? Are you, because you did a spell with eBay, didn't you? Are you still on there? eBay
Still do.
And Motors?
So I'll tell you some not to use. I said I'd never slate this company, but I'm going to do it because I'm sick of them sending me invoices. So Auto Trader, #1 lead generator. The tools work. Dealer Portal's my Bible. Certainly on an auction day, I can rattle through 200 auction cars in an hour and a half, and realise exactly what I need to pay for all of those cars. Do you know what I mean? It's a great tool. I will say that. eBay Motors, we do some business off it. It's a fraction of what we do off Auto Trader, but then the cost is a fraction as well. Car Gurus, everybody says the leads are fake. They're not. I don't think they are. We sell cars off it. You only have to look at reviews.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think everyone keeps saying, "Oh, fake reviews"? They must be getting them for that. There'll be that much smoke about it.
I think if you do the free trial, you get leads, but you don't get the email address from the customer. Right. So then, it looks, some of the names look a bit suspicious. I don't know, but we do business off it. We do, not huge amounts, but certainly enough to warrant the cost.
Enough to warrant
the rep, she rings me every once a month to talk to me about everything. She's lovely, but the lads always look through. It's like, can you talk to Mariana? I'm like, I'm in a meeting. I'm on a podcast. I should probably ring in a minute, actually. So we use that. We also, where else do we advertise? I think that's it. So I did a trial with Heycar. Have you heard of Heycar?
Yeah, I've heard them.
I said I'd never bitch about them online, but I'm fucking sick of them. I'll tell you what happened with Hey Car. Here we go. Fucking world exclusive. Okay. About a year ago, they messaged me. Said, would you like to advertise on our platform? And straight away, no. Look, no. I tell you what, though, if you give me a free trial and it works, then it's going to be the easiest sell in the world, isn't it? If your product is as good as you told me, I'm just going to advertise all my cars with you. Fine. We'll give you a trial until this date. And then from there, it'll roll onto a paid package and just sign this contract and away you go. Fine, bang, done. So I think 3 or 4 weeks went, didn't really sell anything. I tried to ring the guy. He tried to ring me. We missed calls. And then the next month came and so busy. And then bing, I got an invoice. I was like, oh, fuck.
Forgot about
and
it.
It was more than what I thought I'd signed up to. And at the time, I then went on the platform and I saw that all our cars weren't on there. So I'd been pitched this advertising package and a price, thinking I'll have 250 cars advertised. So when I went on the site, I only had 82 cars advertised on there for this fairly substantial bill. So suddenly you kind of delve into it. They don't advertise cars that are over 8 years old. They don't advertise cars. So there is a parameter for vehicle that has to be advertised on there. So it's more aimed at main dealers. But every car needs to be able to be delivered. Every car must have 2 keys. Every car's got to have a V5. Every car's got to have at least partial service history. Every car's got to have X, Y, and Z and a mileage limit. Now, this wasn't explained to me at the time at all. So I'm sat there. I've agreed, in essence, for a trial, which had we sold cars, I'd have carried on. If we hadn't, I had absolutely no intention of carrying on with it. But we'd been billed then for a package that we'd not been sold. So I was getting, so if you actually broke the cost down versus the amount of cars, it was almost half the price of Auto Trader pro rata which is a fucking,
wow.
Yeah. So if you realise if I was paying what I was paying for 80 cars, do you know what I mean? So if you multiply that, felt bigger figure for actually how many we had. So we got on a call with him. I kind of messaged him saying, look, I've got some concerns. I'm like, well, what are you concerned? I said, well, I'm a bit concerned about what I'm paying. And straight away, it was like, we can show you your contract now on this screen to show you what you've signed. I said, no, I'm not saying not signed and I've not agreed to a deal. But no one told me that I'd be advertising 80 cars and not 250 cars. So what I want you to do, lads, is you're telling me that my bill ends, at this point, it was middle of November at this point. I said, look, you've hit me with a bill. You've hit me with a bill and I've only had a third of the cars. So I'm going to propose, I'll pay that bill and you keep my cars listed on your platform till the end of December. And at that point, we'll call it a day. I feel that is fair. So I'd have paid for October, November, December, or something like that, because you missold me. We'll have a look into it for you, Jamie. We'll see what we can do. And from there, my cars stayed on the platform when they weren't meant to. They didn't take them off. I kept speaking to people. I kept talking to people. I got told everything to get sorted. And then it's like we get to the end of December. I think my cars were still advertised to the point where I'm emailing them like, take my fucking cars off your site. Stop sending me bills. No one's talking to me. Get fucking blanked. Just get the fucking cars off your platform. I ain't paying you. I'm not going to pay your bill. I made you an offer. Like they were at the fucking car dealer awards. And I was like, look, what's happening? Jamie, I took a photo of you getting your award. Really great to see, mate. I'm like, I appreciate that. And thanks for your kind words. The fuck's happening with my deal, my account? You know what I mean? The important thing. And we are now in July. We're in August. About 2 weeks ago, I got an invoice from them for about 14 grand. You owe us this. I'm like, stop fucking sending me these invoices because they're never getting paid. I am not paying them. I've spoke to so many people in their organisation so many times. And I said to them every time, do you know what? I'm on a group, man. I'm involved in a car dealer group. I talk to car dealers all the time. You're clearly wanting to make a success. You've given me the worst experience in the world, man. Let's just stop sending me invoices. I'll never tell anyone how shit this experience has been. Just fucking leave me alone. We'll deal with it. We'll get it sorted. And then I got one the other day. and I want to pick my laptop up and fucking smash it. But you know, so I shouldn't say bitch about companies, man. I hate to do it, but they were shit. They were shit. I've said it. It's out there in the public domain, man. They were shit. So that's who I advertise with, Scott.
Yeah.
You asked me a question. I seemed to talk for like 20 minutes. Guys.
No,
sorry.
No, it's good.
Sorry.
I think it's good to cover. It's good to put it out there as well for other dealers to understand your experience.
I'm sure there's people out there who get a benefit out of it, and I'm sure people have had positive experiences. Just can I have one, Dad? Just 1 second. Sorry, Dad. No, fine. Anyway, carry on.
What's telling? Obviously, this is only episode 3, and obviously it won't go out yet for now in a week. But we've currently had 2 episodes of the podcast that have went out there, and although obviously it hasn't been that many people watched or listened to all the way through, we've had nearly 10,000 people view the podcast.
Nice.
2 episodes, which is huge. And just, I'm just going to leave that there for that experience that you've had.
Yeah, I suppose so. I didn't want to bitch and moan, man, and I'm not. And I've not left many bad reviews online, and I've not put posts up and stuff. But as I say, I've just had an extremely negative experience with them, and they've promised me. I've been told on many occasions it'll be sorted everything out, and then I just occasionally get. And maybe it's an automated system-generated invoice that gets sent.
Well, there probably is an element of that, isn't there? But when you've had that many touch points, you'd expect it to be resolved later.
To tell the story every time to someone new in their organisation, it's hard work, but yeah.
Jamie, can I ask you as well? Sorry, you're talking about Auto Trader, where that you're a fan, and I am as well, and I think the portal and everything's fantastic, and you price check your cars, go to the auction. We use it exactly the same.
Yes.
What you've probably been asked this before. What's your thoughts on the which we touched on previous pods was the price markers. When you have a car and it goes in a high price, does that put you off if a car's sitting in high, or you're not that bothered? Or
yeah.
And again, get it out of the high price.
Yeah, I'm less scientific. I'm less because of the volume of cars and how busy I am now. Yeah, I'll see a high price marker. What I probably should do in that situation is then look to market and see where it realistically sits. But because of time constraints, it's a very easy, quick way of looking at something. I bought a car on Tuesday that booked at 11 grand. It was a BMW X1. An Auto Trader retail was 13.5. Okay. Auto Trader retail was 12.5 grand. Okay. And I was on it at 91 or 92. So I'm ahead 400, 450 in fees. It's going to owe me 95, 96. I can get 13,495. I've got best part of 3 grand, But then I end up having to give a bit more money for it because it went provisional. And I thought, well, I could understand why the vendor wanted 9.5 because it fucking books at 11. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't think the vendor was being unreasonable. So before I committed to it, I actually researched the car. The next closest car to mine was the next closest was 13,995. So I'm like, fucking hell, 12.5 grand here is pissed. Because 39.95 was the next cheapest one. That got you a 7,000 mile less car. I think that was maybe a plate, year the same, but a plate newer. If that's 13,995, this car's 12,995 all day long, looking at the market. So I ended up giving the extra money for it. And I've put it on at 12,995 and it's got a fair price marker. It's pissed me off because I'm like, that price is more than fair, and it is. It's good if you look to the market, but its algorithm doesn't always get it right. And it can't, can it? Let's be right. Cars are not an exact science anyway. So unless I've got a ridiculously unique car, I've got a 30,000 mile, 2011, one owner, full history X1 outside in beige with cream leather. Probably not everybody's cup of tea. I give wildly into book for that car. I've got it on at 11,795 now. I think it owes 9 grand. It's now got a high price marker, but it's performing really well on search. Now, maybe everybody's just looking at it thinking, fucking hell, this guy's a dreamer. If he thinks he's going to get that for that car, that's maybe why it's doing the hits. I don't know. But there's a car that I'm not going to now rush to get to a fair or because it's in a high price market now, because it's a very unique proposition.
How long would you leave that in stock for before you started tweaking the price? Does it bother you, or do you just have the?
No, it does bother me, and it does bother me. And if we had funding, this is something else I say to the lads who have funding. We don't have funding. Funding's a very good discipline tool, a tool to make you be disciplined in terms of stock turn and how quickly you're selling stuff and marketing stuff and getting it ready. Because if I knew that at day 90 or day 120, that car was going to mature off a platform, off a plan, and we were going to have to start paying interest charges and settling and stuff like that, then honestly, I would be a lot more disciplined. But look, embarrassingly, and I've never been in this situation in my life, I've got cars that are close to a birthday, and it's embarrassing. But I'll share it with you, lads. Never really been in that situation before where I've had a car that's got to a birthday. Whose fault is that?
We've got one we think it's coming up for its second birthday. It's one of those Ford EcoSport things. It's orange.
Is it? Let me just tell you, my oldest car in stock. 1 second. I'll just do it now. Stock and ads. Days in stock. Oh, no. Actually, we sold the birthday car. 317. And then 274 and 272 are the next three.
Going back to the price markers, you're saying about the high price. Does the low price bother you as well? Because they say you shouldn't have it in low because it makes it look too cheap and what's wrong with it and so on.
You remember Chris Penny used to work for Auto Trader, and he went to work for Virtue. Still works for Virtue, I believe. Chris Penny, if you're watching this, shout out to Chris Penny, aka Car Sales Memes. It was rumored once upon a time. But he whenever I see him put stuff up, I take notice of it because he's a data guy, isn't he? So when he said to us historically, low price markers weren't great because they almost didn't work. Mm-hmm. As we came out of the pandemic, I remember him putting a post up saying, look, I've got the data of, I think is there 20,000 cars in the group. I'm not sure. I might have wildly overestimated that. But he said, look, I get to see data from 200 retail sites. And low price markers do work. Was the last time I saw him post them. That might have been a year or a year and a half ago, but it stuck with me. So whereas before I didn't really love a price marker being low, now because he said so on an offhand comment once, I mean, maybe 2 days later he put another comment up saying low price markers don't work.
He commented
on a low price marker and I missed it. And
he commented in the group as well about the packages. You can go from enhanced to all the way to the high one. I remember reading that in the group, and he commented on something which basically said that that's where you need to be on the high one.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's obviously crazy money, isn't it?
Everyone talks. I think has a different view on it. I think if we were selling more generic vehicles, and I was wanting to stand out in a crowded place, then perhaps I would look at that. Yeah. We sell stuff that's a little bit unique. I'm not saying a BMW 3 Series is unique. There is ubiquitous, if that's the right word, as a Ford Mondeo now, if not more so. But the 2015 95,000 mile 320DM Sport Auto with a spoiler and some spunky wheels on it. I don't need to. There's not 100 of those cars, and I'm trying to stand out against them, if that makes sense. So I think if we were selling more generic vehicles, that perhaps I would look at doing it. There is another reason I've never gone on for one of those more expensive packages as well, and that is primarily because if I go on it and we have a good month, I'll find it extremely difficult to then come off it. It's like the whole thing that I'm sure we all have from time to time is what would happen without Auto Trader? If we didn't have Auto Trader, what kind of result would we turn for a month? And I'm sure we've all thought, fuck it, let's have a month, switch it off and just see what happens.
Yeah.
But you can't.
I don't use it.
Hey?
I don't use it.
Do you not? You see, for me, I am not gonna take that shot because it take me a month to switch it off, and then you'd have a month. And would you want to risk? I don't know, But
what would you think, Jamie? The percentage of sales Auto Trader generate for you as a business?
I'm completely plucking this figure out of thin air. 75%.
Yeah,
but that's a complete guess. That's not backed up with data, which it should be really, because again, somebody running a business of this size should really have a handle on knowing exactly where every inquiry is coming from and every deal's coming from. But the truth is if you ask a customer, sometimes you where have you seen us? Auto Trader? Yeah.
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
So where have you seen us? You know, and you almost load the lips, don't you, with their answer sometimes. Like I'm sure, Steve, if you said to your customers, did you find our car on Auto Trader? A handful of your customers would say, yeah. And like you say, you don't even advertise on there. It's so, you know, but I'm on the Billy Base package. That I'm on the standard Auto Trader package.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I talk to my rep, who's a good guy, comes and spends a bit of time with us. He has always said to me that you advertise, you've got more cars than Auto Trader slots. Based on what you sell and how you operate, Jamie, I believe if you're going to want to spend more money with us, I would spend it on having more slots rather than having an increased package for the number of cars that you've already got.
Yeah, Craig, my account manager, he told me the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
have more cars first.
Yeah. I think the sentiment to Auto Trader, has been, have you had paid out? Sorry, guys. Sentiment towards Auto Trader has, I hate to say it because I do like Auto Trader. I think because I've found trading tougher, that bill that you get when you're flying doesn't matter what you pay.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Come on, you know, you fire as much, it doesn't matter because loads more's coming in than's going out. When it toughens up and you see that £23,000 bill, and I tell you, I've got a bugbear with him this year. The dealer awards, you know, what are you called if you're a good Auto Trader dealer? What are they called, man?
The retailer awards.
Retailer awards, yeah, not the full retailer award, but the red one that you get.
Oh yeah. The
recommended, highly recommended, or something.
Highly recommended.
Yeah,
we didn't get it.
Right. I think I seen something you'd mentioned that online somewhere.
Yeah. It annoyed me a bit because I don't know, and maybe I'm just being Mardy. You know, maybe I'm just being a petulant little bitch about it. I don't know, but I just feel as a retailer, with what we pay them, that it's their job to support their dealers, really to support their dealers and help their dealers present the best possible case to their customers. I'm not saying it should be an award that absolutely everybody gets, but they've talked about percentage of review requests being sent out. You know, I think in some respects, and I don't want to send every customer a review request because I sell imperfect cars that go wrong. And whilst we have a great relationship with our customers, I don't want a part failing on a vehicle to then have a customer leave me a shit review. I don't. And that sounds, sounds like I've not got confidence in what we sell. I have. I've got complete confidence in what we sell. But they go wrong. I've got complete confidence that at some point, chances are within 12 months of taking a car from a customer's car's going to go wrong. Well, there's going to be something on it that'll happen because it does. Because these are older cars, technical, complicated cars that we spend a fortune prepping. That earlier on, I've had a guy come back. We've done a clutch and a flywheel for him. Okay, we've done a wheel bearing. We've done various bits and pieces. We're bringing the car back from the workshop. Ping, brake bulb out. It's like, what? The guy sat here waiting. And the mechanics rang me and said, the brake bulb's gone out. What do you want me to do? I'm like, spin round, go back to the fucking workshop, stick a bulb in it, and spin round and come back. And the customer sat here for another 15 minutes pissed off because the bulb's gone. But I'm afraid to hand his car over to him, with him then saying, oh, there's a brake bulb out. What have you done to my car while it's been having it work? Oh, a fucking bulb's gone. What's like at home when you go to the toilet and you have to have shit in the dark because your bulb just goes out of nowhere? Do you know what I mean? What do? You fucking ring Co-op or B&Q, whether you bought the bulb from, you fucking come. No, you don't. But it happens. It just, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just more reluctant now to send some. And if that's going to cost me one of those awards every year, so be it. So be it.
I think the other thing as well is the way they're doing the reviews, though, they keep everything in house. So if you ever do decide, oh well, actually wait a minute, and do go like Stephen and say, I'm quitting Auto Trader, all your reviews go because they own them.
I know. It is. I mean, we focus on Google because I tend to look at Google, but if I see a bad review, it does bother me. Like, I go on CarGurus. Our CarGurus scores 4.2 out of 5. And it hurts me a little bit, and it's less controllable, I suppose, than some of the other platforms. Yeah, you go on Google, we're 4.8. Auto Trader, we were 4.8, but we were 4.7 because of one that's been left yesterday. Although I spoke to the guy, he's lovely, he loves us, we love him. He's going to delete it, and I'll go back up to a 4.8. But not having that retailer award this year, yeah, bothers me a little bit. It does, because I just think that the if you are selling a volume of vehicles and you have nearly 1,000 reviews online, which are overwhelmingly positive, that to not be a highly rated dealer, I take as a little bit of a kick in the balls.
I can see that.
But equally, is it one of those things? You know, if you CarGurus, you get one every year. So I think there should be a little bit of it. But again, it is what it is. But I would like them to be clearer. It would be nice if, because they're saying they're already counting for next year's award. Well, where's the communication? Would it be nice to have an email from Auto Trader? Right. In 12 months, if you want to be a highly rated dealer, these are the things that you're going to need to achieve. And if you don't achieve them, you're not going to be a highly rated dealer. There you go. That's Fair what enough. You need to do to get the award. Yeah, I don't know if that's the case. I mean, I'll talk to my rep when he comes in, because this is a big mystery. Why? Why make it difficult for us? We fucking pay you a huge sum of money. But again, I'm probably being bitchy and mardy because we're not performing to the level I would like us to be performing at, you know, at the minute. And as I say, there's changes being made in the business. But I have to remember, I've got a brilliant team of people. I own my stock. We're still making profit. Something. Do you know what I mean?
You're laughing, man. You're laughing. No,
yeah, exactly.
You could be sweeping the roads, Jamie.
I know.
In the cold.
I know. Yeah. I know. And this is the other thing, being somebody who doesn't need a lot of money, because I don't have that kind of extravagant life. It's not like I'm thinking, fucking hell, unless we do that this month, the Dubai trip's off, or the Rollie that's on order ain't coming. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to stay in a caravan in Norfolk. Do you know what I mean?
Jamie, can I just move on a little bit, mate?
Yeah.
Just because we're running out of time, really, because we're such skinflints. The software that we've got to record the podcast doesn't go past 2 hours.
Does it not?
Well, if we want to go up on the higher plan, we can do that. But we've obviously just started out, you know, so we haven't paid the extra 30 quid or whatever it is.
Sorry, man.
So, but we could talk to you all day, mate. But one thing I wanted to get from you was just for someone starting out, for any of the group members in DealerWay at the moment who are just, you know, dipping their toe in the water, or who are working full time in a main dealers, and who are buying a few and selling through from the doors, because that's where we all start, you know. Have you got any advice for anyone starting out?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't do it. No, I'm only joking. Just don't worry about what everyone else is doing. This is something that we all do, don't we? Start looking around. Oh, shit, the minute you ring, is it shit for you? Yeah, shit, yeah, job shit in it. No, just focus on what you're doing. If you are in a job and you can do both until you're fully in a position where you can make a go of it, just don't run. Do you know what I mean? Baby steps. Don't lie to people. Genuinely make friends with whoever you deal with. Treat people you deal with well, with respect. Talk to your workshops nicely, wherever you get your cars cleaned. Be nice to these people because you need them. Did the same when I was in a dealership. You know, I had a friend in admin, a friend in valet, a friend in parts, a friend in the workshop, you know, and a friend on the sales team. So that when I was on my day off, someone would do my handover. When I needed 3 invoices being done within 15 minutes to go the last day of the month, I could walk into admin and not get, you know, a handbag thrown at me, or just, you know, a marker pen stabbed in my eye. They'd help me out. So just be nice to people, man. Be nice to fucking people. Just live your life that way anyway. You tend to find if you're nice to people, you don't fuck people, and you're respectful and you're nice and you're just honest and you're straight, that generally life tends to be all right and nice for you, and people will want to work with you and want to help you out. You know, one thing that when the previous business went belly up, I kept good relationships with 99% of the people that we dealt with. I didn't fuck anybody over, and I looked after people where I could. So when I was in need and I needed traders to help me out with cars, and even a couple of little bits on SOR, or I had a workshop who I needed an emergency MOT doing, or I had these people around me still because I'd not fucked them. I'd not treated them badly. I treated them right and with respect. So I would say that avoid funding if you can. It's not always easy. We're in quite a fortuitous position, not having had it, but I would have had it. had I not had to set this business up in my parents' name initially because of all the mess of the old business. And when I went to get funding, they said, if you think you're having funding, Jamie, you can fuck off because we're not signing up for it. What do you mean? They're like, no, you can just build bit by bit. It's the best thing we ever did. At the time, I wanted it because I wanted some bigger smokers on the forecourt, but sell what you can make money out of, not what you like. You know, that's the other thing. Buy stuff to sell it to make a profit. We all do it. I did a deal with an RS3 the other day. I thought I fancied that. Nardo grey, some spunky wheels, loads of spec. Horrible cars. Horrible. Should never have done the deal. The customer's a nightmare. They're on the second car they've had offers now. They're trying to back it. I've sent them loads of goodwill and stuff like that because I got all excited about taking an RS3 and in Nardo grey. What a knob. Should never have done the deal. You know what I mean? But I let my emotion take over, like, fucking RS3, I'll run that. You know what I mean? Check me out, 44-year-old midlife crisis, driving an RS3 on a set of bowler gold alloys. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know, loads of things. Just you know, don't worry too much about what everyone else is doing and just be straight with your customers. Don't lie to them. And when I went home after car a lot, I did 30 cars 1 month off my drive. Genuinely, did 30 cars off my drive. It's amazing. And I kind of thought to myself, I'll quite happily do this forever. And it was only when I got served papers from BCA to say, we're making you redundant. We're going to make you bankrupt unless you pay all this money back. Did I then seriously have to think about starting again a real life business? Because there was no way I was going to be able to turn up at BCA's office at Blackbush every week and write, there's a one for you, one for you know what I mean? It had to all be done properly. So that pushed me into to setting up a proper business. But you can make a decent profit off your drive. You can, and you have to be greedy. I mean, some of those cars I was making £200-300 a car, but I was doing volumes. I used to love it. I'd be outside of my drive selling Toyota Celica for 1995 that owed me £1,500, but it had an MOT and a quick clean. It's like £400, and that was cash. I mean, obviously, I paid all my taxes and I didn't dodge
obviously, anything. Yeah. Obviously.
You know what I'm saying? It's do that 30 times a month from home, and you're having a nice life. You're having a really nice life. So, as I say, had I not been served the papers, I could still be sat in my pajamas watching Jeremy Carlo. That's not on anymore, you know. But selling cars from my drive. So, you know, sell what you can make money on. Be straight with people. Have good relationships with everybody. Love your customers up. If customers in an issue, try and help out as much as you can. You know, and don't answer your phone to customers after a certain time in the evening. That's something I would say is quite important. I don't give customers my mobile number anymore. No. And if I see someone who I suspect or I don't know the number, I just don't answer it. And I don't have an answer phone, or I didn't. It's come back on when I went on holiday, but I need to switch it back off again. Turn your answer phone off. I get anxiety when you have 7 new messages. Like, oh, fuck. I don't want to even listen to them, or I just want to delete. Say, just turn your answer phone off. Yeah. If it's that important, they'll ring you back or they'll send you a text message, and then you can make a decision whether you want to speak to them or not. One I've learned from my wife, that is, no answer phone. Oh, no, she has. Or she just deletes messages without even listening to them. Just won't even listen to it. And it's good. Yeah, so there's a few tidbits of info. And talk to your fellow motor traders and people in the industry to get knowledge and stuff. I'm always available. If you message me, it might take me a fucking week to message you back. If someone messages me, I'll always try and help out where I can. And I think that's the other thing as well. Just help other people out around you and be a fucking good person. Just be a fucking good person. Be a good human fucking being, and you should do all right in life. That's my advice.
Top man. Listen,
good
Jamie,
advice.
You've been amazing. Thanks very much for coming on. I'm sure we'll have you back on again at some point.
Cool. I want to wish you every success with your platform as well, guys. I will say this. You've seen a gap or an opportunity in the market and you're going for it. I admire it. I do. And I wish you every success. It takes a lot to do what you're doing. And I mean it. I wish you well, lads. I really, really do. And my hat's off to you for the effort and the time and everything you're putting into it. Because I do. I respect it. I respect the grind. I respect the graft. And I respect hard work. So I mean it. Every fucking success to you, lads.
Thanks, mate. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks a lot, mate.
Cool. No worries.